Hey guys, welcome back to World of Warships. Today we're taking a look at the Leipzig. This is going to be in the Dockyard as your free earnable tier 6 cruiser. This is almost like a Nurnburg if you gave it 10-kilometer torps instead of 6-kilometer torps. There's some other weaknesses to it that it unfortunately is a little tricky to play with, but it is a very fun, interesting ship at tier 6, and you can earn it for free by getting to phase 11 of this upcoming Dockyard. It's got some very slow turret traverse, as you can see here. The guns are a very massive downgrade over something like the Nurnburg. We also get very weak AA in comparison to a Nurnburg, which doesn't have the best AA overall anyway. The DPM is massively reduced on the main guns, 7.9 second reload versus 6 second reload. But you get these torpedoes, guys, and if you're interested in a Torp cruiser with very good detection, nice little dev strike to start us off there with those Torps, people aren't going to expect you to have this level of Torp range. Your concealment is also nuts, so that's a massive benefit over the Nurnburg. This is very much a torpedo-focused cruiser. You can use the guns, and it's important you do use the guns. I greeded out a little bit in this game in particular later on in trying to make it mostly work as a torpedo boat. You still definitely want to use the main guns, but you gotta know you're severely outmatched as far as DPM goes against other tier 6, tier 7 like cruisers. So Alazo is the last ship I want to deal with. So I tried to go dark, tried to mitigate or limit the amount of damage coming in. On the minimap, you're going to notice that the light pink circle is our torpedo range, and that white circle inside of it is our concealment. So you're easily able to stealth torp with this ship, which is really cool. It's something that you don't really see a lot of at these lower tiers, even in destroyers. I think on the American line, you have to wait until Mayhem to really get any sort of stealth torping capability on their destroyers. So having a cruiser able to do it here it's pretty cool. The damage output here so far, not great, but we have managed to finish off a couple kills. And I'm going to jump way ahead because I really did not use much other than torpedoes and missed basically everything. But here we have a Bayern pushing in, and we do manage to hit a torpedo. With the build I'm rocking here, I am going with full torpedo damage and speed upgrades. Torps are a little bit slow, I will say. And the DPM is actually no different when it comes to Nurnburg. So your torpedo DPM is the exact same, you just get the bonus of extra range, which is nice to have, certainly. But you also lack a little bit of speed on the Torps, 59 knots versus the 64 knots on Nurnburg. So Nurnburg's actually a little better at the YOLO torping, if you're so inclined to go for that. Not by much, though, it's really just the speed. Consumables wise, I think they're just the same. Your AA is a real big weak point. Plenty of times here where I wish I wasn't being spotted by a carrier. Yeah, just gotta mention that again. It's a little bit annoying, certainly, but we can play around islands, of course. This ship does have worse range, though, compared to Nurnburg as well. So very much not a gun-focused ship. Only 13.5 kilometers of gun range versus 16.5 on the Nurnburg. That's a massive difference. The turret traverse is also so much worse. They really don't want you using the main guns here. But I do manage to get a Kraken in this game with only less than 40,000 damage. Might be securing some kills out here, I suppose. But at lower tier, you know, the damage numbers are a little bit less. Our HP pool of less than 30,000 also is a bit of a struggle. I think I have Survivability Expert. We'll have to check the build a little bit later. But we should finish off this destroyer, I hope. And, well, I hope we do. We got the Ranger on us, and that's going to keep us spotted. Otherwise, we probably would have gone dark here, since the Ismail is actually outside of our main gun range. It's a little benefit that some ships have when they have very little gun range. They go dark very quickly when the ship that they're firing at gets killed or is no longer spotted by going behind an island. And that's something we don't have here, where the carrier is on us. I should have just fully turned away here instead of stopping or slowing down. I'm used to higher tier where the torps are a little bit quicker, And I had plenty of time to actually turn away, but we do slow down, and I eat the Torp and die. But 6 kills, you know, 41,000 damage for 6 kills. Bit of securing going on, but we did actually lose this game, unfortunately. It's a fun little tier 6 ship to have, and I think it's really cool to have these things inside the Dockyard. There was a period of time where the Dockyard didn't have a mid-tier premium available partway through that anyone could earn for free. So I'm glad Wargaming in the last couple has been adding some of these. Last time, of course, West Virginia 44, very fun tier 7 battleship. This time, Leipzig tier 6 cruiser. A little bit different playstyle, certainly less interesting for me, but of course I'm very into that brawling battleship playstyle. For those of you more interested in the stealthy Torp-focused cruiser playstyle, I think this is a really decent option. And again, you get it for free at level 11 in this Dockyard, out of 20. And of course, we got the Oquendo as that final reward. If you already have the Leipzig, you do get yourself the Oquendo for free if you put in the time, of course. It's a large time commitment to get this thing. But overall, it's shaping up to be a little bit less exciting Dockyard, I think, compared to the Wisconsin one. But it's not every time we're going to get something like the Wisconsin in the Dockyard, right? I still am yet to play much more Oquendo, so I plan to do that as well this week and hopefully get some more videos out on it with some more in-depth impressions after a while. Here, though, we miss all of our Torps pretty much on this Collingwood. I assumed he was going to slow down. I don't know. Totally misplayed this as far as the Torps go, but that reload is quite nice, allowing us to get back to these torpedoes, and hopefully, yeah, this time I'll land it. But in a situation like this, you're no better than a Nurnburg, actually. Slightly worse, in fact, thanks to the slightly slower torpedo speed. Last game I have to show for you guys, though. Didn't do much at the beginning, of course. Very difficult in standard battles. In domination modes, where people are likely to push the caps, then you can get some things going. But here I actually spawned on the 1, 2, 3 line and did basically nothing at the start. I am going to send my Torps at this sub, though, to force him to dive. Either he eats the Torps and dies, which I'm good with, or he's forced to dive under the water, underneath the torpedoes, which means his Torps will be below my ship, allowing me to get away. And then he goes dark, and my Hydro is not up. That is a nice bonus, though, of these ships, of course. The German cruisers, getting yourself a 5.5 kilometer Hydro is very, very nice. And really quite rare at these tiers. So it's a big value add here that allows me to hopefully deal with this sub. We also get plane-based ASWs, something that I wasn't necessarily expecting, but very nice to see. I'd prefer most ships, if not all ships, had the plane-based ones, since it feels a little silly to have to go charge at a submarine. You're really only able to do that in the late game like this. And still he gets away. Our DPM on these guns, man, is just lacking a little bit. Otherwise, I believe the guns are the same as Nurnburg when it comes to the AP values. Yeah, it's all the same. The pen, the shell velocity, the ricochet angles, all that. The damage is the same with the AP, as well as the high explosive. So the shells aren't too bad, actually. Like, your HE is going to pen 38 millimeters, which at this tier, for some reason, isn't actually that valuable. Battleships get worse armor, kind of, at least when it comes to the game. Gameplay mechanics. They get worse armor at high tier. At these lower tiers, they have almost no superstructure, and then they're all armored up in the upper belt and deck armor, so much more than at high tier. So even with a cruiser here with 38 mil pen HE, we're shattering a lot. It's kind of a funny feature as you go up in the tiers. Certainly not easy to play a mid-tier cruiser. No healing here, of course, and it feels a little sluggish, even though on paper it's not too bad. The rudder shift time is okay, around 7 seconds, and I think it's a 700 meter turning radius. I can look these things up, though. I probably should. Yeah, 700 meter turning radius, 7.3 second rudder shift. It's not bad, but it's a bit of a slow cruiser. But Nurnburg is also a little bit slow, so you're pretty much used to that. Some of these AP salvos, though, right? Into that Wesser there, we got upwards of 5,000 damage. Longer range into a Normandy. I mean, these armor schemes of these low-tier, mid-tier battleships, man. I kind of wish they were at high tier. As a battleship player, give me some of these armor schemes. Let me take less damage, please. Of course, with the HE pen on German cruisers, you don't get the alpha, though, that you might see on other ships at the tiers. So even though we will pen more often into battleships, the damage output is a little bit lacking. And again, low damage. In this game, I actually didn't even get a single torpedo hit. So very situational with the torpedoes here. As a torpedo destroyer, even if you don't have the best stealth torpedo range, you might have less range than the Leipzig does. It's easier to land the torpedoes because you can launch them from closer. At the end of the day, you still are a Nurnburg hull, very vulnerable to taking a lot of damage very quickly. So even if you want to play this role, it's still going to be a bit... I mean, 4.6k from the AP, though. That's pretty good. It's still going to be hard, though, to play this ship as that torpedo boat, I suppose. You can do island ambushes, certainly, but you need people to push it. Wow, nearly 6k? That AP, man, that's so good. This is a small complaint. This is, I mean, nearly a decade in the making, this complaint. I still wish Hindenburg, the whole line, they would have buffed the armor piercing instead of just giving them a quarter pen with the HE. This happened like in, I don't know, 2017, 2016, I don't even remember. So this is a long time ago. I still wish it was more AP focused, because look at the damage you can get out of it. Anyway, small complaint there, but those are the games that I have for you. Very low damage, but some decent kills, and those torpedoes are powerful when people are pushing into you. They do pretty good work. And since this is going to be a premium tier 6 that you're going to get, you can swap some high-level commanders over. Doesn't mean you're going to have a Torp build cruiser commander for the German line, but a normal build probably works just as well. But Pack-a-Punch is pretty nice to have alongside the torpedo reload upgrades, so we get ourselves a 60-second or so reload at nearly 16,000 damage on the Torps. That's why when they hit, they did so much. Very nice to have. Concealment, crazy. 8.7 on a cruiser is nuts, as well as Survivability Expert helping us out a little bit. You're pretty squishy, though. That's even with Turret Traverse, though. Grease the Gears has been applied, and that's still a very sluggish Turret Traverse. Very painful to use, and no 360 turret. I don't know if Nurnburg gets a 360 turret, actually. Maybe that was the tier 5. But I remember one of them at these tiers getting a 360 turret. It's been a while. Been a while since I've played these things. So, again, going with torpedo tubes, though, since they're very slow. Getting us up to 65 knots is decent, but slow torpedoes. Definitely the main armament, though, I think, on this ship. Armor-wise, yeah, very, very paper. It's a mid-tier cruiser. Of course, that's how it's going to be. Citadel, I believe, is pretty exposed. Yeah, you're even a bit above water with that Citadel. Turtleback, not going to do much, but maybe against cruiser AP. Even then, though, you probably are getting Citadel because of the angle. Well, that's going to do it for the Leipzig here. This is a very interesting ship. Very unique playstyle, certainly. We don't get a lot of these at mid-tier that have such insane torpedo power and concealment. A bit at higher tier with things like the Jinan line, for example, but not at mid-tier. So a very interesting, unique ship to put partway through the Dockyard. And you can earn this one for free just by playing the game in the next couple months while that Dockyard is available. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.